What's going on, people? So, got a pair of shoes in. This came from, well, gosh, right? Had I paid more attention to releases and whatnot, I could have probably just bought these straight from Adidas and saved a fair amount of money because that whole overseas conversion thing with the extra shipping cost, it's not always great, but sometimes I just see stuff and I'm like, oh, let's see how this goes. Put in a little raffle, and then I wake up a couple days later to some your order has shipped sort of thing. And that's what brings me to this, right? Now, before we all go getting all into it, right, you see that this is like the whole Midwest Kids thing. I don't know anything about the Midwest Kids. I do know that I'm a Midwest kid, Iowa specifically, which is why there's the pillows and partly why I'm really into the whole black and yellow thing. But yeah, so I saw that and I was like, well, all right, let's go ahead and see what's going on with these. They don't look too bad. So real quick, off the side of the box, there's that for you, for anyone that cares to see it, right? Not sure what all that says. Okay, yeah, just Form 84 low. Alright, normal stuff, right? So, I believe I've said enough of what went into the background of these as far as like where I got them and why I got them and all that good stuff for the most part. So, let's go ahead and just do the review portion on these right here. As you saw, this is the Adidas Forum 84 Low Midwest Kids collaboration. So, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. I'll start with the bottom after I take this crap out of here. Down there, what you're looking at is a bit of a gum outsole for the most part, and then you got a little bit of red down in there and some sort of off-white going on as well. Overall, it's kind of a cool look because it's almost like translucent though, but you'll see that more once we get to the upper side. So, on the midsole here, right, taking a gander from the side, that's where I was saying you can kind of see like there's a little bit of a clear translucentish sort of style to it. So kind of a cool execution in my eyes, right? It is a very thick feeling midsole though, like as far as like heft goes. But anyways, so let's take a quick look over at the overall shoe, see kind of what it looks like and all that good stuff. So you can kind of get a good idea for what all is going into it. But then as we normally do, we'll talk about like some of the details and whatnot, give you some close-up shots all around. Hopefully you can then make like some kind of opinion on if it's for you or not. And then you can share that opinion if you want to down in the comments section or whatever. Now, looking down here around like the midsole, around the toe box area. So outlining the toe box area, right, you have this sort of feels kind of like nubuck in a way. It's kind of like hairy though. I'm not sure what term is best for that because I'm not really good at that sort of thing. But you have that, and it feels all right. It feels better than it looks. At least that's how I felt when I first picked them up. And so then on the upper side here of the toe box, you've got some leather going on, and that's going to be kind of in like an off-white sort of color. And then above that, you have more of that same sort of material you had below it, right? So it's pretty decent overall. Really nice quality, if I haven't said that yet. So let's go stepping back just a little bit over here. Over on the side, right? So you've got the three stripes, for the Adidas logo, and these are going to be made of some sort of thick materials. It kind of reminds me of certain releases of the I-5923s, because different ones were done different ways. But these, they have like that thick cut stuff going on, and then behind that, you've got a little bit of this like nylon stuff going on, right? It's kind of a thicker feel for whatever reason. I don't think it's that anything crazy or whatever, but it just kind of feels a little more sturdy, a little more stiff in some ways. But either way, still the same sort of nylon that you've seen on things before, right? And so, moving back a little bit under here, you got some leather, and that's going to kind of ride out things all the way to the back of the shoe for the most part. So that's just going to be blacked out, right? And then as you get almost to the back, you've got that Midwest Kids logo thing going on. I assume that's their logo. I've never really looked at it before because I didn't know that it even existed until I bought these. But either way, you got that thing going on, right? And so moving up just a little bit, so behind where these, this strap holder thing is, you have this weird material. It's kind of red. It looks really cracked out and stuff. It looks like it would be very rough, but it's not. I'm not quite sure how to describe it. I mean, it's not the smoothest feel in the world or anything, but it doesn't look like it feels as rough as it looks, at least not to me anyway. But you got that thing going on, so there's that for you. And then, of course, like I was saying, you got this strap up here. And real quick, I'll show you, they do have two other colors of straps. So they've got the red color, and then they've got the white color. And then on the back of those, it says, "The journey makes the story better," right? Which is the same thing that you see on the inside on the paper, which I didn't really show you before because these were already out of the box, so I didn't think about it until now. But either way, so you got that going on, right? So you can switch out these straps if you want to. Now, moving on back here, you got a little bit more of that red piece, kind of like you had on the inside area, right? Same sort of thing. And then you've got more of that same sort of suede type of nubuck, whatever, with a little hairy piece, right? So you don't have as much on the outside as you have on the inside. Over here, because there's not that leather like you had on the outside, they just make up for it with that sort of material, right? So there's going to be that for you. Now let's jump back around over here to the front area where these laces are and knock this piece out. So real quick behind, let me switch over to the other shoe because these don't come laced, which is definitely a complaint for me because I hate lacing shoes. But behind here, right, when you look at what's going on the tongue, it's more of that nylon sort of neoprene type of feel going on as you saw on the side, right? And so in a way, it kind of reminds me of the night joggers, which I'm not sure if I ever did a review of those or not, because that was early on. That was an early purchase into my YouTube phase or whatever. I'm pretty sure I did a wear test though. Either way, so it kind of reminds me of that in a lot of ways. And then as you get to the top, you have the Midwest Kids patch up here. So that's going to be leather. It's got the text on there, right? And then if you check out the back end of that tongue, what you're seeing back there is Forum Adidas, and it's got like the logo and all that good stuff in there, right? So that's what's going on with the tongue. Now, as far as the laces themselves go, once again, you've got two pairs of laces over here on the side. So you've got a black pair and a red pair. They come somewhat set with the white pair, right? And it's pretty much just going to be standard lacing, nothing too fancy about it. On the tips, though, you do have the Adidas and the Midwest Kids, depending on which end of the laces you're looking at. So there's that for you. Now, moving back to everything here, the laces themselves are just going to be just your typical flat, white, plain laces, or whatever color laces you choose to put in there. Just flat, right, plain. Nothing too fancy about it, none of that gloss or anything. And then one thing that you probably saw down on the side area here, where you have like the lace holes and all that, the bottom one says Midwest Kids Adidas. The other ones are just plain holes, right? So there's that. Now, let's go ahead and set this thing down, move back to the other one. So real quick, before I go getting onto the inside, one thing I forgot to mention, on the medial side, I guess, I forget which one is which, but the inside of the shoe, you have kind of like the dumb bottom thing, but it's kind of blocked out on the middle area. It's got this white piece going on. Minor detail, but you know, if I'm talking about the shoe, may as well talk about as much as I can talk about. Anyway, so getting on into here, right? You've got the whole thing I was saying earlier about like the journey makes the story better. So that kind of is all across the insole of there. That's going to be a white insole with some sort of goldish type colored text, right? Maybe with a slight olivish tint to it. Either way, you got that happening. And then past that, it's not a whole lot to really talk about. I mean, it's just like a black sock liner and all that stuff. Very cushiony feeling though. Overall, the materials on these are very nice to the touch and stuff, but we'll come back into that a little bit more a little bit later. So that, if I'm not mistaken, kind of covers everything about the visual of this shoe from outside to inside. And therefore, we're done with the first part of this video, which means we can move on to the second part of the video, which is my own personal thoughts. Now, these right here, right? I generally don't want a whole lot of stuff going on with my shoes. So when I saw the strap thing, I was kind of turned off on it, right? Not gonna lie. But one thing, you can take that off if you want to, so that's a plus. But past that though, the execution of the rest of the shoe is kind of where they brought things all together for me and make it overall a worthwhile purchase, because the materials on these things, I don't want to oversell it, I never do, but they feel really good to me, right? And just the overall look of the shoe seems to be pretty solid as well. I like that they gave you the extra lace colors and the extra strap colors. So if the white and the black doesn't do it for you, kind of switch it up a little bit. So all in all, like presentation wise, these are pretty solid. I should probably look into what this Midwest Kids thing is at some point, but for now, I'm just gonna not worry about that and assume that it's not something I don't have anything against. But I've been proven wrong in the past once. Anyways, but as far as this whole shoe goes, like I said, the one complaint that I will make is that I paid more than I probably should have paid for it. I did get it early, but at the same time, I opened it like weeks after they came out in the States, so that kind of nullifies that now, doesn't it? But all in all, yeah, these are solid. Definitely solid. So if you're kind of wondering about getting them or whatever, maybe that'll be some useful information to you. But you probably need a little bit more before you go make that decision. So let's talk about like the sizing, the comfort and stuff, and maybe that'll kind of round out your perception on these things. I bought these in a 9.5, right? For me, my true to size fit is a 9.5, so that's just my go-to for things. And I figured this is similar looking to the other things that I've worn, so it should be okay, right? And it is, right? But here's the thing. The way these shoes seem to be cut and all that good stuff, it's almost like it's like perfectly made for my foot. So there's not a whole lot of room in the toe box area, not to the left or the right or even to the front. So it's very much like just the right amount of room for you. So if you're kind of like not sure if these are going to fit or not, you might want to lean towards going up half a size. I don't know what they would feel like at that, but I'm just saying, like, there's not a lot of room in these, so do with that whatever you want to. Now, as far as past that goes, like the materials and stuff, these feel really nice, right? Like on the upper, right? So the plushness and stuff of like the insole, not the insole, but like the sock line and all that, yeah, it just feels really good to walk around in. Now, I've only been through the apartment here, but so far so good. The one thing that I'm not a huge fan of is the midsole, because these are a little heavy, right? I'm not sure what the deal is with that, if that's how all these types of shoes are or whatever, but to me, it's just not a thing that I'm super into. It's still going to be something that you can wear for an extended period of time, I think, and be okay with it. But, we all have our preferences, and mine are just for things that are a little bit lighter. But overall, all together, I would say they still get a thumbs up from me. So I only complain because I just want people to know how I feel about the whole thing overall. Now, I think that covers everything, so we're good, right? Yeah, probably. So I can move on to review number 3. Got a pair of Yeezy 450s that I completely forgot about until I was getting these boxes out today. So, I need to do that. Therefore, from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I got to go knock out that review that I just said I need to go knock out. And then I have some shirts and stuff to open up too. So, semi-busy-ish Sunday. But anyways, later people.